And episode 8 of Tulsa King. Man, this show. I fell in love with the show when it first started, and there was a little bit of a lull at times, but this world building and the tension is just like every week, little more, little more, little more. And the world and the pressure on Dwight just keeps getting bigger and heavier and heavier. And this TV show wastes no time continuing to create chaos around Dwight at every aspect of his life. So it begins because Mitch is helping Dwight, basically train these potheads and people around him to shoot. Like he needs these people to level up, right? And the best part was there's this girl named Grace. She works at this. She's at this pot place, and she can actually shoot. There's a little tension there, a little girl splaining. Didn't care for the girl splaining, but she's like, we got drug into your crap, man, and you should say you're sorry. I'm like, it's a little over the top, but to be honest, she's at least a likable, charismatic character. Some of the other ones are kind of like forgettable. But I do like the premise of the concept of the scene. And then this episode is like rapid fire with cuts. They will cut to something, give you 30 seconds to 2 minutes, and move on to something else. This episode did not spin its wheels a lot in places. It really just was like boom here, boom there, boom here, boom there, which I think adds to the tension. It just keeps giving you just little tastes of all the crazy that's going on in this little universe as it grows, right? So you have the ATF. They are doing a raid on Waltrip, right? And try to confront him about Roxy, who basically was their informant. She's been killed. And he just kind of plays it up like, I haven't seen her. I haven't seen Pike either. And she's like, oh, I'm not done with you. And he's like, well, I'm done with you, right? So you have sort of Dwight working with the pot Indian folks, dealing with them about their casino plans, trying to get them in all that. That's happening with Bodie being there, part of like putting together the business plan. You have the funeral for the boss, Pete and Chicky. And Chicky is like totally an inappropriate boss. Like he's breaking all the rules right out of the gate, talking about whacking Dwight, having this back and forth with a guy named Johnny. Like, isn't there another solution here? And Chicky basically attacks Johnny. So the tension is there. It's bad, right? So Dwight and Tyson are scoping out the bikers. They're seeing the cops that had harassed Tyson earlier in the season. Stacy is dealing with the feds, trying to keep Dwight off their radar screen and really focused on Waltrip, right? This biker gang. And there's this funny where Mitch, so because the people can't shoot, Dwight knows he needs soldiers, right? So he asks Mitch for help, and they get a couple of these sort of like former inmates, and they're like, one of them says, "Are you in the mafia? Were you in the mafia?" He's like, "No, man, there's no such thing." That was a great line. I Stallone really does bring it pretty well in this show. I do like it a lot, actually. Really, really do when those moments happen. There's a quick mom moment, crying, and dad. So she's crying off screen, but dad's tension with Tyson because he's leaving. And then Tina's calling about moving there, but there's all this like Dwight knows it may not be safe. And then of course there's this interesting scene, another wrinkle that they just kind of threw in, and I don't know that there's a lot of time to resolve this one, or if this is something they're setting up for like next season, because it already has a season 2. Margaret, who is like this lady at the stable that's getting along with Dwight, her ex-husband is there, and there's this rude back and forth because he thinks Dwight's just there to fleece Margaret. And it's like, you're an effing relic, and this dog doesn't chase and doesn't hunt down here. And it's really interesting. Margaret's not phased. She just has a hots for Dwight. It's kind of funny, actually. Waltrip has got the cops, his cops that are in his pocket to try to go after Dwight. There's some more conversations about the casino. The cops try to pull over Tyson and Dwight, and when that happens, Dwight just goes, "I'll take care of it," goes out with his hand in his coat jacket like he's got a gun, and basically just threatens and intimidates them because he knows that they're in bed with these bikers, and they leave him alone. So that's one tension that just keeps getting more and more and more. It's the threat from Waltrip, the threat from the police. All this stuff just keeps coming. They're coming for Dwight, right? Meanwhile, Chicky ultimately does call Dwight, and he has this sentimental phone call about, listen, we got to move past the past. It was hard for me to see my dad being put in the ground. It makes us look weak. If we're fighting, we need to make amends. I'm going to come down there with Goody, the concierge. I'm going to come down there and set things right. Calls him Uncle Dwight, right? Let's break bread. And Dwight's like not quite sure, but they agree everything. That obviously will be in the next episode. As soon as the phone hangs up, though, you get what really is going on behind the scene. Chicky is like, no, we're going to F this guy. We're going to do. I was like, whoa, boy, it's just crazy stuff. I think the Uncle Dwight line will come back into play there. It kind of caught me like weird. Like, really? That seems like there's been all this tension. Now suddenly you just drop that in there. Anyway. So then there's a scene with Armand, who hasn't really had a whole lot to going on the last couple of episodes, but you have this tension with him and the wife, and she's talking about getting a divorce, and he throws the food against the wall. Typical mafioso type stuff. And then it kind of starts to wrap up at the end where Stacy, the ATF agent, goes to see Dwight, catching him up on all the stuff. I got the feds off you. We got went after Waltrip, whatever. And next thing you know, Waltrip's there and taking shots and hits Stacy. Right. So, man, the tension, the chaos, everything just keeps coming around Dwight from every angle. He's got the stuff with the family. They're coming to Oklahoma. They're going to be trying to kill him. Waltrip's still on the loose. He is not letting go of that bone. That is a dog with a bone. He's not letting it go. The cops are probably scared because they didn't follow through on getting Dwight. So that's still there. The bikers are trying to kill him, right? Armand's in this big mess, whether he ends up with a divorce or not. Bodie is really, really on the fence. Bodie's not right. There's something wrong there. They got the casino thing kind of moving. Really, other than Mitch is like in solid with Dwight. Like Mitch and Dwight seem like they're tight, right? Dwight gets it. And Mitch is like, I got a freaking bar on like Cherokee land, so I don't care about nothing, man. I'm doing my thing. Margaret had ties to the bikers, so I still feel like she could be playing Dwight a little bit here. But they seem like they're getting along okay. It was a nice triangle with Stacy, but I like the fact that what's Dwight going to do now, because Stacy was killed, she was shot. I don't know if she's dead. She was shot in his presence, so he can't hide the fact that this was happening. Now Tyson did pull right up and took the gun, so he can hide the fact that he had a gun and fired it at Waltrip or whatever. But it puts him in a very precarious situation with the police and the investigation as well. There's just so much going on. The show has really finally delivered, I think, on where I thought, because these are the Sopranos and Boardwalk Empire people, and I feel like early on it was only about Dwight, but now I have a lot of little subplots. I still would like to see more of them evolve a little bit. I would have liked to seen Tina and Emery again. Like there was a quick shot about them bickering about not moving, then she's calling like they're going to move, and then she kind of backpedals. That storyline's a little like uneven. I think they need to figure that out a little bit. I think that the thing with Margaret will need to have either a resolution that will be of betrayal, maybe would lead to something with Waltrip there, or we'll set something up in season 2. That would be fine. But we're getting close, and it is interesting. I hope you're enjoying the show like I am. I really am enjoying something, and this is a great, fun ride. I love mafioso crime stuff, so I kind of have a little bit of a special place for it in that regard. So I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. I love been seeing your comments. Many of you are enjoying the show. I'd love to hear your thoughts on favorite parts, favorite characters, those kinds of things. You guys just let me know. So thanks again for watching. I am Pops.
Thank you.